What if I told you that one of the most beautiful cities in the United Kingdom is hiding something terrifying? A city where history doesn't sleep, where shadows don't always belong to the living, and where some people simply vanish. Welcome to British Hauntings. Tonight, we take you deep into the dark secrets of Glasgow, a place where witnesses claim to hear voices in empty rooms, see figures that shouldn't exist, and feel a presence that never leaves. This is not just a story. This is a documentary based on real reports, real, and mysteries that remain unsolved. So before we begin, make sure you subscribe to British Hauntings. Hit the like button, drop a comment below, and share this video if you dare, because once you enter this story, there's no turning back. It was supposed to be just another city, a place filled with history, culture, and stories carved into stone. But beneath the lights of Glasgow, beneath the laughter in its crowded streets, there's something else, something older, something darker, something that refuses to be forgotten. Because in Glasgow, you are never truly alone. Over the last century, hundreds of people have reported strange encounters, whispers in empty hallways, footsteps where no one walks, figures watching from the shadows. Some say it's just imagination, others never speak about what they saw again. Tonight, we uncover the truth behind one of the most haunted cities in the United Kingdom. This is not fiction. This is Glasgow. Glasgow, Scotland's largest city, known for its Victorian architecture, its vibrant nightlife, and its rich industrial past. But history leaves scars, and some scars never heal. During the 18th and 19th centuries, Glasgow grew rapidly. Factories filled the skyline, workers flooded the streets, but with growth came darkness, disease, poverty, violence. Thousands died in cramped conditions, bodies buried in unmarked graves, and many believe not all of them stayed buried. There are places in Glasgow where the air feels heavier, colder, as if something is watching, waiting. In 1998, a night security guard working in an old abandoned building reported something disturbing. He claimed he wasn't alone. At first, it was subtle, a door creaking open, lights flickering, but then he heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming from the upper floor. He grabbed his flashlight and made his way upstairs, each step echoing through the empty corridor. The building was supposed to be vacant, no electricity, no residents, nothing. But as he reached the top, he saw it, a figure, standing at the end of the hallway, not moving, not breathing, just watching. He called out. No response. He stepped closer, and that's when the temperature dropped. Suddenly, unnaturally, the figure moved, not walking, not running, gliding, straight toward him. He ran. He didn't stop until he reached outside. The next day, he quit, and never returned. This wasn't an isolated case. Over the years, more reports surfaced, different locations, different people, but the same experiences: shadow figures, cold spots, voices, calling names in empty rooms, and always the feeling of being watched. And this is where the story gets even darker, because what investigators discovered next changed everything. These weren't random hauntings, they were connected. There is one place in Glasgow, a place even locals avoid after dark, a place where the line between the living and the dead begins to blur. Glasgow Necropolis, a vast Victorian cemetery overlooking the city, thousands of graves, centuries of death, and according to many, something still walks among them. It was here, in the early 2000s, that a group of teenagers decided to explore the necropolis at night. At first, it felt like a game, laughing, recording videos, daring each other to go deeper. But then, something changed. The air turned cold, unnaturally cold. Their cameras began to glitch, battery levels suddenly draining, and then, they heard it. A voice, faint, calling one of their names. They froze. No one was behind them, no one in front, just graves, endless graves. One of them turned slowly, and pointed toward a shadow, moving between the tombstones, not walking, not human, something, shifting in the darkness. They ran, screaming, dropping their cameras, leaving everything behind. The next day, they returned. Their equipment was still there, but the footage was gone, completely erased. Not all hauntings in Glasgow happen in cemeteries. Some follow you home. In 2012, a family living just outside central Glasgow reported something terrifying. At first, it was small, objects moving slightly, doors opening on their own. But within weeks, it escalated, not coming from outside, not from another room, but from inside the walls. The family recorded it. Low, distorted, but unmistakably real. Experts were called in, paranormal investigators, skeptics, even police, until one night, everything stopped, completely. The activity never returned. But before it ended, the voice said one final sentence. By now, the reports were impossible to ignore. Different people, different places, same patterns. A team of investigators began mapping incidents across Glasgow. What they found was deeply unsettling. Almost every major haunting was connected to locations with a violent past: old hospitals, burial sites, abandoned buildings, and at the center of it all, one theory: moments of intense emotion, fear, pain, death, imprinted into the environment, replaying again and again. But some cases didn't fit that theory, because some entities responded, moved, followed, and that suggests something far more disturbing, because if these aren't just echoes of the past, then what is still here? The city never said goodbye to its dead. It simply learned how to live with them. Glasgow sleeps, but not completely. Even in the quietest hours of the night, when the streets are empty and the lights flicker in distant windows, something remains awake, watching, waiting. After the investigator disappeared, the case should have ended. Files closed, reports archived, another mystery buried under time. But that's not what happened, because weeks later, something new began. It started with a letter. No return address, no name, just a package delivered to a small, independent journalist who had been quietly following the Glasgow incidents. Inside, a memory card. At first, it seemed damaged, corrupted files, broken footage, but buried deep inside, there was one video, just one. The timestamp read 3:17 a.m. The footage opened in darkness. Shaky breathing could be heard, close to the microphone. Then slowly, the image adjusted. A dim hallway appeared, broken walls, peeling paint. The same abandoned structure, where the investigator had last been seen. He was still there. The camera moved forward, unsteady, as if the person holding it was struggling, not just to walk, but to stay in control. A whisper filled the audio, so faint, it was almost lost, but when enhanced, it became clear. "You came back." The investigator stopped. The camera tilted slightly, then froze. At the end of the hallway, something stood there, not fully visible, not completely formed, but unmistakably present. It didn't move, it didn't breathe, it simply existed. The air in the footage began to distort, like heat waves, bending reality itself. The investigator tried to speak, but no words came out, only a choking sound, like something was tightening around his throat. Then, the camera dropped. For a moment, nothing, just darkness, and then, footsteps, not his, slow, heavy, deliberate, getting closer. The camera shifted slightly on the floor, pointing upward, and that's when it appeared.